Good morning and welcome to our session. I'm Carol here from Sunset Learning Institute from the marketing team. We're excited to have you join us today for a special Cybersecurity Month session. We're also thrilled to be joined by three experts from Cisco who will be sharing their knowledge on Cisco and Splunk. How these two powerful technologies integrate to drive stronger security outcomes. Before I get started, a little bit about Sunset Learning. We are a Platinum Cisco Learning partner and have been delivering and developing Cisco training for more than 30 years. Okay, we offer a wide variety of Cisco courses, which are always guaranteed to run, and we are proud to accept Cisco Learning credits. Also, now let me introduce today's presenters, our specialists. Thank you guys for being with us today. First, Brian Helvey, Global Security Specialist, that will start us off with an overview of today's most important security operations and how they powerful work together. Okay, and then Kyle Winters, a technical advocate in cybersecurity at Learn with Cisco, will walk us through the Splunk and Cisco integration, showing how the combination delivers stronger security outcomes. Finally, Doug Nutini, who is the product owner for Cisco Security Content Team, will share details on a new Cisco offering, along with a special promotion available, and we will know more right after today's presentation. Before I hand things over to Brian, I'd like to hear from you guys, like we always do here. Also, I wanted to make you know that all of the attendees are muted, so you guys cannot unmute yourself. So if you have any questions, any comments, or anything, you can use the Q&A feature here or the chat. I will be here and helping to address all of the technical questions or any questions that you may have, okay? And also, we will be sharing the record after this session. And I will launch a very quick poll today to get your feedback. Please take a minute to answer these, since it will help us driving the session and explaining and driving the content for you guys, okay? The poll questions will be open for like 5 minutes, since we have an hour and a little bit. I will hand over things to Brian and we can start, okay? But please answer our poll, since this is very, very important for us on the marketing team and for our presenters too. Thank you. Brian, all yours.
All right, thank you. All right, let me, there we are. All right, well, we have a little bio here. I'll let you guys read that, but I'm a global security specialist at Splunk. So I work along with our customers and partners and sellers, really just to help position our security product set, help people gain understanding and move opportunities and things like that forward. So what I wanted to talk about was just to help give a base understanding of Splunk Enterprise Security to those who may not have ever worked with directly with Splunk. I know that we've been around for a really long time, and people feel they have an understanding of what we do, but we've made a lot of innovations over the past several years. We continue to add more features and products to our offering, and just want to make sure everybody is up to date on sort of the current state of Splunk and the things that we can do to help out. So when we look at Splunk, this visualization sort of helps understand what Splunk security offers and just in terms of core products. And I'll dig into all of these in a little more detail, talk about how they integrate, and before we hand off to Kyle so he can talk about all of the amazing things that we're doing collaboratively to integrate our products with Cisco. So it starts with, in all cases, the Splunk platform. The Splunk platform, that's our data analytics platform. It is the core underlying, function that Splunk provides, so that people can bring in data from all different sources, analyze that data, visualize that data, and make it actionable, for them. On top of that, we add our enterprise security product, and that is the SIEM. And that is really adding a specific layer of security analytics and detections and visualizations to help analysts in the SOC. On top of enterprise security, integrated with enterprise security, we have 4 premium products. We have our Splunk Asset and Risk Intelligence. I'll refer to that most likely as ARI in upcoming slides. We have Splunk Attack Analyzer. That's one of our automation tools for threat analysis. It is also a cloud-delivered standalone product. It does not require any additional Splunk product in order to utilize that. Also on the automation front, we have Splunk SOAR. That's our security automation tool, also available on-prem and in cloud, and can be purchased separately from any additional Splunk product. All of these things integrate exceptionally well as a part of the Splunk ecosystem, and they're very powerful when used together, but Attack Analyzer and SOAR can be purchased separately. And then we have our Splunk User Behavior and Entity Analytics product. And I'll cover all of these in upcoming slides. First, I just wanted to cover in terms of market position and things of that nature, the third-party validation, to make sure there's an understanding of sort of where we are in the marketplace in terms of SIEM. Third-party validation and the different analyst resources, like Gartner, Forrester, IDC, et cetera. We are always looked at as a leader in those spaces. And, the Forrester Wave report that just came out, very, very good report. If you're trying to help anyone, analyze a SIEM product, it has a lot of great detail to help, people along that path. And then, Gartner, when we look at, Gartner in terms of the Magic Quadrant, we've been a leader in the SIEM space, for 10 consecutive years. And the one that is coming out now, it also, shows us as a leader. Will be 11 consecutive years in the top of the leader quadrant for Gartner. Additionally, last year, Gartner released a critical capabilities for SIEM report. And that's really evaluating, 3 critical use cases for SIEM and looking at us and all of our feature sets and comparing us to all the other people and all the other products in the space. And the categories were out of the box SIEM. So that is just straight out of the box. What can we do? Next is customizable SIEM. So, an analyst or a SOC or, user's ability to customize the SIEM to be specifically to their needs. And then finally, it's threat detection, investigation, and response. And, we finished first in every one of those use cases. So our ability to execute right out of the box is the highest. We have the most customizable capabilities for SIEM. And, very importantly, for threat detection, investigation, and response, our capabilities there. And one of the things that we're known for, we ranked the highest. And when we look at customers and when we're working with our customers, due to just the breadth of services that Splunk provides and some of the complexities, we really try to look at where the customer is on the security maturity journey. and understand if they're at a space where they're just starting to work with SIEM, they're bringing in data, and they're in a more reactive state in the SOC, all the way up to a very proactive and automated state in the SOC. And so we try to align our products to their current state, and then give them future targets for additional products and capabilities and things, so it's not all overwhelming all at once, and it's really sort of a guided journey through maturity for the customer. Now, with enterprise security, we've just over the course of the past year released our largest innovations in enterprise security 8. And what that's really doing is unifying in a single workspace, single user interface, our SIEM, UEBA, threat intel management, and SOAR capabilities. So instead of having to go into different tabs once you're in the analyst queue, or open up SOAR, or open up a different window for UEBA, all of that is integrated into the workflow. And all of those things are essentially layered on top of one another in enterprise security. And that was done to ensure, I guess, speed of investigation, ease of use of the product, and just really enhancing the analyst experience with Splunk and with enterprise security. So when we talk about enterprise security, just the core, SIEM capability, just to give just some more definition, one of the things that is really special about Splunk is our ability to scale with tremendous amounts of data, and our ability to analyze data, really from any source. A lot of our competition in the marketplace is really strong in their own ecosystem, but then struggles when you move outside of that. And we don't have limitations in terms of the data that you can bring into Splunk, the scale at which it's still effective, or our capabilities there. Splunk Enterprise Security comes with a lot of dashboards and visualizations and reports, but also gives the SOC the ability to customize those things, so that the dashboards that they are seeing and the visualizations and reporting are specific to their use cases, their industry, and the things that they are trying to protect. Our risk-based alerting feature in enterprise security helps customers deal with alert noise. And so instead of dealing with a lot of different alerts as they come in, and just a really high volume and a high number of that, and I've seen it in practice with our customers and in our own SOC, where you have hundreds of thousands of alerts. But with risk-based alerting, you're able to prioritize and combine and sort of stitch those things together. So when they hit a certain alert threshold, then they will hit the analyst queue. And that can reduce things from hundreds of thousands to under 100, or just the amount that a normal staff in a SOC can easily deal with in a shift. We have pre-built detections in enterprise security, over 1,900 out of the box. And then on that, customers are able to and do, build their own customized detections based on their specific needs. We're using AI and ML to help detect unknown threats and anomalies. And, like I mentioned before, when talking about enterprise security 8, all of that is in a unified modern work surface and user interface to make it easy for the analyst. And additionally, we have Splunk Base, which is our repository of custom applications that either Splunk has built, or other customers have built to help people get more out of Splunk. Oh, we have a little spacing issue there, but we've also released our AI assistant in security. And what that is doing, we have people who have been using Splunk for 10 years, are exceptionally proficient in it. But for newer analysts and mid-tier analysts, the AI assistant for security helps build detections. You can say in common language what you want it to do. It can generate the queries. It helps the analyst by summarizing findings and giving investigation information, and will suggest next steps and give guidance for how to remediate the threat that they're seeing. Next, with Splunk SOAR, Splunk SOAR is a product really that is designed to help analysts save time. It helps put playbooks together and automate the remedial tasks in the SOC. And I think that one of the more common use cases that gets discussed is phishing. If you think about how many phishing alerts come in daily, and you have an analyst that's their job to remediate those and work through all the process, they can automate that task in SOAR. So it adheres to security practices. It automates the entire process. It can either automatically take action at the end, or all the analysts would have to do is take the appropriate action based on the results of the playbook. SOAR comes with pre-built detections, pre-built playbooks, and integrations that you can use, but you can also build and customize those things very, very easily. And also, SOAR is integrated now into the enterprise security workspace, and it integrates very well with our Splunk Attack Analyzer product, which I will talk about soon. In addition, just talking about some of the AI capabilities that we're building into Splunk and enterprise security, we are doing AI playbook authoring. So what that is you can, in common natural language, type out what you want the playbook to do for you, and it will help generate that. One of the barriers to success with SOAR is the ability to generate playbooks and get all of the things built and make sure that you're not missing any steps and that you have everything taken care of. And the AI tool for playbook authoring is going to be, it's coming soon. Very, very important for SOAR and getting the most value out of that product and helping analysts along the path there. Splunk Attack Analyzer, again, is one of our automation tools, and it's really automated malware analysis. It gives people in the SOC the ability to send a malware sample. It can evaluate QR codes, images, URLs, and one of the big use cases here is phishing also. So if you haven't already had a customer who's built a playbook in SOAR for phishing, they can simply use SOAR to automate the sending of those phishing, potential phishing alerts to Attack Analyzer for evaluation. And one of the really great things about Attack Analyzer is it not only determines whether or not the malware sample, the phishing email, the QR code is malicious, but it also shows all of the steps taken. It provides artifacts and not only gives you back the determination, but tells you how it got there, and helps provide information on how to go back in and search and use enterprise security. When this is coupled with SOAR and enterprise security, you can automate the sending of the malware sample to Attack Analyzer, and then the results and the outcomes can then be fed back into enterprise security and in the investigation. So just adding a lot of ease, a lot of automation, and a lot of information to help the analyst in the SOC. We've also added into Splunk Attack Analyzer a malware threat reversing agent. So that is, again, just giving the analyst more information step by step on the malware, helping extract IOCs and helping map to MITRE, and just really giving a lot of good, valuable information to empower and help the analyst when they're doing their job. Integrated into enterprise security also is our user behavior analytics product. And so that's helping detect anomalies. So if you have users, a great example would be Impossible Traveler. Things looking for an anomaly where if I log in Virginia, every time I log in, and then all of a sudden I'm, within seconds or minutes, I log in a different location, it's going to flag that anomaly. And UEBA is built into enterprise security. It's built into the investigation workflow. It helps increase and help with, mean time to detect and respond, has a lot of dashboards and information, and again, integrates very well into our enterprise security product. Splunk Asset and Risk Intelligence, or ARI, what that does is it helps build out our asset and identity framework within enterprise security. And that's really important for attribution, understanding what users, what systems are affected, and really just helps speed the investigation and help the customers get to a determination much more quickly and take action much more quickly in the SOC. It also can integrate with the ServiceNow CMDB and help enhance that information for the customer. So, as we're talking about and leading into Kyle's part of the presentation here, we're really unifying things. Customers who have Cisco XDR or SNA today, all of that information can be fed into Splunk Enterprise Security and provides exceptional data and insights to help build out and do additional investigations and response. And the two products can work very well together. And we have a lot of integrations built. And I'll pass it over to Kyle now so he can get into those things and talk about all the exciting things we're doing now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. Let me just go ahead and make sure. All right. Looks like we are updating. Everybody, my name is Kyle Winters. I am a technical advocate on the Learn with Cisco team, and I take a focus on cybersecurity. I come into Cisco about a decade ago from the acquisition of Landcope, a product called StealthWatch, which is now referred to as SNA Secure Network Analytics. I've also worked in Cisco DevNet. I've worked in various different application security startups in between there as well too. But now focused on the Learn with Cisco team on educating folks and providing feedback both externally and internally around Cisco and our cybersecurity offerings. So, Brian, you did a great job setting the stage there for Splunk and a lot of its awesome capabilities. And for those of you who don't know, Splunk is ingesting a ton of data every single day. I mean, 4 petabytes of data ingested daily, that's a tremendous amount. Now, when you take a look on the Cisco side, Cisco's handling more than 800 billion security events every single day. They're monitoring over 1 billion endpoints every day and analyzing roughly 625 billion web requests every single day. So you take all this, you put it together. What does it mean? It ultimately means unmatched outcomes. I mean, this combination, it's stopping billions of attacks. It's ensuring that networks remain as resilient as possible and making sure that applications remain as hardened and secure as possible as well too. Now, what does this actually all mean in practice, and how do we achieve all of these outcomes together? So there's a couple different ways, and just to kind of break it into 3 different buckets here, there's things that we have around threat intelligence, integrating Splunk with Cisco Talos, and I'll talk about all of these in more detail here shortly. But it's enriching things through threat intelligence. It's making sure that the right security alerts and the context necessary across all of these different offerings are coming together into Splunk through things like the Cisco Security Cloud app. And then it's bringing in the next generation of technology as well, things like Cisco's AI defense, and having you be able to leverage that inside of Splunk as well too. So let's take a closer look and just talk first about how Splunk and Cisco Talos work together. So there's really 3 different really cool integrations that I'll talk with you about today. The first one is the Splunk add-on for Talos Intelligence. And with this, you can automatically enrich alerts in Splunk Enterprise Security with real-time threat intelligence from Cisco Talos. So this means when Splunk spots an indicator compromise, like a suspicious IP, a domain, or a suspicious file hash as well, you instantly get valuable context from ultimately one of the world's top threat intelligence sources. So your analysts, when they're looking at this, they can quickly assess risk, prioritize alerts, and respond faster to real threats, all from within Splunk's interface. So it's really easy to add that kind of actionable threat intelligence and threat context and make your security operations a bit more efficient. Now, there's that for enterprise security. We also have an integration with Talos Threat Intelligence for the Splunk Attack Analyzer as well. And with the Talos Threat Intelligence for Splunk Attack Analyzer capability, you can really boost your detection of brand new threats and add that valuable context to things like URLs uncovered in the attack chain. So this integration, it's automatically enriching suspicious URLs with real-time intelligence from Cisco Talos, and it's helping analysts quickly identify and respond to emerging threats directly within the Splunk Attack Analyzer. So you can really kind of automate that investigation process and help you kind of stay ahead better of new attacks, new techniques that they're leveraging, and run those investigations more quickly and more efficiently. And then the last one is related to Splunk SOAR. So this would be kind of the Talos intelligence connector that works out the box with Splunk SOAR. And with this, you can really seamlessly bring Cisco Talos threat intel into your incident response workflows in Splunk SOAR. So enriching security events with real-time threat data. This is going to help make analysts faster, make more informed decisions, and automate key response actions leveraging this intelligence data. So it really is going to help you strengthen your playbooks and accelerate those investigations and improve the outcomes of your incident response. So 3 awesome ways that Talos and Splunk come together. Now, obviously, Cisco has a lot more security technologies than just Talos, and Splunk has this massive app ecosystem. So we have a lot of legacy apps that we've built over the years. I've actually built some of them myself as an example. I didn't build this one, but this is an example of an awesome one here, this Splunk for Cisco Identity Services Engine app. With this one, really you can extract and index a wide array of events from ISE, including AAA audits, accounting posture, client provisioning audits, and profiler events. So really, it lets you kind of correlate that ISE data with tons of other sources that you're ingesting already into Splunk, things like firewall events or application data, really trying to give you much deeper operational and security visibility. These apps as well, they come with pre-built dashboards. Here's an example on the screen here of one of those dashboards. You can see it's got a lot of different capabilities into it, but you can have a lot of different pre-built reports and dashboards for things like profiling, authentication, system statistics, alarms, even location awareness. So there's a ton of awesome stuff that comes with these legacy apps. But Cisco has also shifted a bit more to kind of having an all-in-one, all-encompassing app that you can have all these capabilities in one place, and that's the Cisco Security Cloud app. So really, this is essentially a consolidated app that has a ton of our capabilities inside of a single app. The idea here is to really simplify setup, normalize the data that you're ingesting from across these different things, and be able to more effectively correlate this data together and make actionable, intelligent decisions around this data. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an understanding as to what capabilities come into this app, we have like the new AI defense capability. We have Cisco Duo, email threat defense. I mean, tons of stuff. We have secure endpoint, our secure firewall offerings, malware analytics, network analytics, XDR. All of these things have pre-built capabilities inside of this single app here. And it's very easy to go in and configure this and set this up all from the application setup page. So we want to make it as easy for you as possible. Now, inside of this, there's tons of pre-built dashboards as well for each one of these different integrations. Just a few examples that you see on the screen here for things like firewall, XDR, and Duo. You don't have to be building all of these custom capabilities and these custom dashboards. You can just come in and set this app up, configure it, and now you have all of these capabilities out the box, these pre-built dashboards ready to go. And you can obviously customize them if you want from there. Splunk is highly customizable. But this is a great starting point and a ton of great capabilities right out the gate with this. We even have pre-built dashboards for Cisco AI Defense, so you can pull in that AI data uh, pretty instantly and be able to kind of keep track and monitor the risk associated with your AI applications and your LLM models. So very powerful stuff, all built into this app. We even have things like operational visibility capability dashboards built into it. So making sure that all of your data is coming in, for example, making sure that your integrations are working properly, monitoring things like the CPU and memory of these different integrations and the connection health and just general app analytics. All of these things kind of come together into this app. So it's really not just the dashboards to view the data, it's just on top of that, dashboards to make sure that these integrations and the data that you have coming in is working correctly and effectively. So tons of stuff coming into here. And when it comes to data coming in, by the way, I don't know if you all heard this, but you can now ingest up to 5 GB of Cisco firewall logs per device per day into Splunk. And this is all free. So really, we want to help you be as effective as possible bringing this data in. We have this awesome app that's set up. It's easy to configure and use. And we're now giving away essentially free ingest of Cisco firewall logs into Splunk to help you kind of leverage this integration and operationalize it more easily and in a more cost-effective way. So definitely check that out. I think it's pretty awesome. There's tons of stuff that you can do with this. I mean, taking a look at some of these different integrations here, this is just some examples of some of the different things that you can do. Whether it's like with Cisco XDR, being able to have seamless threat detection and investigation, understanding suspicious user activities from Duo, or launching phishing investigations and detections through the email threat defense capability. I mean, there's tons of different things in here. You get that seamless kind of deep network visibility that you can run from your inspections using secure network analytics integration, being able to leverage malware analytics as an example, having the vulnerability, all these different things. It all comes together into a single app. How many apps bring all of this together, all these cool capabilities into one? And when you have all these different things together, there's really a lot of cool stuff that you can do, a lot of use cases that become available to you. I'll just give you an example of one to start. So with this app, you can do things like set up an integration with Cisco Secure Email Threat Defense, Cisco Duo, and Cisco Secure Endpoint. So you can essentially, while mapping, extracting, formatting, indexing the received data, you put all this into Splunk. Then the alerts and suspicious events, let's say, for example, from these Cisco solutions, can then be elevated as findings into Splunk Enterprise Security and as indicators of potential security incidents, which you can then further analyze and take response actions. So you can, in addition to this as well, too, leverage this further on down the chain to launch some additional automated capabilities inside of Cisco XDR. So really, bringing in, for example, hey, email threat defense recognizes that this email it's blocked, it's malicious, tie that in together with the user information, tie that in together with the endpoint, investigate that with ISE, and then escalate that into XDR to do additional incident detection and response. This is just one cool example of some of the things that you can do, but there's a ton of real life use cases. And this list here doesn't do it justice because there's so much more that you can do. Really, there's a ton of high value, real world SOC use cases powered by the integration of Cisco and Splunk. Some of the things obviously are very straightforward, like having centrally, normalized data and a centralized ingest of Cisco security telemetry with that unified, easy to go setup with the health checks and the dashboards. You obviously get cross-product investigations that are streamlined, very quick pivots and things between dashboards and tiles that allow you to drill down and investigate data more effectively. You, on top of that, also though get risk-based alerting, pre-built detections right into it, so you can map those things into Splunk's common information model, and right out the box be able to detect these risks more effectively. But there's tons of cool use cases. I mean, you've got stuff in here that you can do around compliance and governance. You can do a whole ransomware kill chain where you can correlate email lures from, for example, secure email threat defense with suspicious MFA activity in Duo, endpoint detections from secure endpoint, and IPS hits from secure firewall, and then use Splunk Enterprise Security and XDR for incident correlation. Even trigger password resets or endpoint isolations automatically. I mean, there's tons, like I said, zero trust operationalization. That's a big, tough word. Network beaconing, phishing to malware pipeline analysis, tons of stuff you can do. This is just scratching the surface of it. But when you have all of these things together, really the capabilities are powerful and you have a lot of things that you can do. So just to kind of give you an example, and sorry that didn't run very well there, but really, you can reduce those investigations. I mean, execute a phishing investigation very quickly, have it from A to Z in less than 15 minutes, ultimately reduce the alert volume that you're receiving, and provide 5 times faster detection and response to threats. So really, not only can we help you advance your threat detection and incident response journey, but this industry defining security technologies that Cisco and Splunk are offering will also deliver really exceptional outcomes and reinforce your digital resilience. So hopefully you can see now that Cisco and Splunk, we can work better together. And there's a ton of opportunity for all of us, for the people that we work with, for all of our organizations to really advance this journey and improve our security posture. So tons of information I just gave you. Doug, hopefully you can bring it home here for us now and share with us a little bit of information on how do you learn about these different things from a learning perspective and really kind of bring it home.
Thanks, Kyle. Just getting in and taking control, so give me a second on that. You guys really set the stage quite well, Kyle, Brian. That was fantastic. Just hearing all the possibilities, it's endless. And so I think what I'm going to do is, this is not seeming to cooperate with me in this way, so I'm going to do Plan B and just go ahead and share a screen and take control this way. And apologize for that. That doesn't seem to want to be working for me all that well either.
No worries. If you want, I can advance the slides for you.
Yeah, if you could do that, that would be great.
Sure.
Appreciate that. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and move it on through. And while we're waiting for that, no, but again, Brian, Kyle, thanks for that incredible introduction. Brian, hearing about everything that Splunk can do, that just sort of underscores, like, we've got people who are really about it with Splunk, know their technology well as the folks on the Cisco security side. And my job as a product owner for Learn with certifications is, how do we create an offering, right, for users to really sort of bring these two things together. That's the challenge that we had, and you could just see, listening to all the possibilities that are there, what it would take. So what we do, and we can go ahead and chat and forward to the next slide. What we do is we get a group of subject matter experts together, folks like Brian from the business unit. We get product managers together. We get content engineers from my team together. We get instructional designers together, and we sort of hash this out. We go through what is called a high-level design, where we sort of imagine what this learning path is going to look like, what are the elements that we're going to bring into it, and then we even get down to a detailed design, and we go through a quarter, 2 quarters of development where that culminate in what we call an alpha class. So we actually put all this content together, and you'll see as we go through. I'll bring you through the content. I'll take you through the learning path. We'll talk about one of my favorite things from instructional design is elaboration theory, where we start from the beginning and the more basic concepts, And I think Brian put it out there as the crawl, walk, run, fly. Well, we do that same thing, right? So in terms of the content that we're going to see, and we can go to the next slide here. And I think even, there we go. So let's stop on this one. In terms of the content, just to talk about it a little bit. The level of content that we've put together is at the intermediate level, which means, we're not talking beginner, we're not talking CCNA, we're not talking expert, we're not not talking CCIE, sort of in that sweet spot in the middle, and that's pretty much what you'd expect in terms of what we're seeing with this kind of technology, where we're taking Splunk and Cisco security products and bringing them together. We ended up at the end of the development process with 20 courses, and this is we have this e-learner first mentality. So the idea is if you're looking to get asynchronous training, this learning path was really created for you, right? So it may be that you have a little time today and a little time tomorrow. Really, you can learn as you go, and we break this up into bite-sized chunks. These 20 courses. You'll see that throughout the learning path, hands-on activity is key. So there are 19 different opportunities for you, 19 different labs for you to work through in terms of getting that hands-on experience. And I love the way Brian and Kyle both talked about Splunk first, and then Cisco security products second. Following that elaboration theory, you're going to see this as we go through the courses. We group them together into these things called tracks. Okay, out on Cisco U, and tracks are just natural groupings of courses, and we do follow that elaboration theory process where we start with the basics and bring you right along. By the time we get all the way to the end, we've gone through what are the basics of Splunk. We talk about integrations, we talk about XDR, we talk about SIEM, we talk about SOAR. You have your hands on with all of that. We even get into some of the case studies. It was really interesting. I didn't get a chance to see Kyle's entire presentation, but as I was watching it, I'm like, son of a gun, he's sort of following along with our learning path there, even down to the use cases. We have assessments that I'll talk a little bit more about. Those go along with tracks. If you're into continuing education credits, you'll see completing all of the assessments with the learning path gets you 32 CE credits. And those can help you out both inside Cisco. I'm, for example, a CCNP in networking and security. And whenever I have to renew my certifications, those CE credits are an invaluable way to get that done. But they also help you with external certifications, which I have a few as well. So 32 CE credits associated with this. And just in summary, like 32 hours of training altogether. You'll see how that's broke up between the tracks and the courses. We feature videos here, 50 videos, because for the e-learner, right, where you don't have an instructor, in lieu of the instructor, we have, the deep dives into concepts, and videos are an invaluable way to do that. Again, the 19 labs and just a ton of images to drive the points home for those of you who are visual learners. So Kyle, could we get the next slide, please? Appreciate that. Now, this is where we start, breaking down into, I mentioned those groupings of 20 courses we call tracks. There are 6 tracks altogether, and following elaboration theory, you'll see we start with the basics of observability, the basics of Splunk. What are things like search heads, indexes, forwarders? If you need to get familiar with those terms, this is the place for you to start. And the takeaway here is it gives you a good solid foundation with Splunk and the components of it, and allows us to start thinking about that proactive operation enablement. We move to track 2. This really does get into XDR, Splunk SIEM, Splunk SOAR. And you heard Brian talk about how we start with Splunk Enterprise, and then we add on Splunk Enterprise Security to get us to SIEM, and then even on top of that we add on SOAR. So we want to walk through those concepts and make sure we drive those points home, because again, we are doing the crawl, walk, run. We understand that some of you are coming from a Splunk background, others are not. And that's one of the nice things about the offering itself. As you go through this, again, it's asynchronous, so online, as you go through this, if you're thinking to yourself, basics of observability, heck, I've been using Splunk for years, I've got that. Not a problem. You can take an assessment sort of self-assess, and if you pass that, then off you go, and you're on to the next track. So you've got that flexibility to go through the learning path just as it works for you. Tracks 3 and 4, a little bit about tracks 3 and 4. These are where we get into integrations. And I saw both Brian and Kyle talk a little bit about integrations. Last I counted, there are over 20 different Cisco security products that have integrations with Splunk. So the idea is that we do want to get to that unified platform, and Splunk provides that capability. We want to, enhance the ability to speed up the threat detection and response process. And so these two tracks, the Cisco Security Cloud app, I would say this is sort of the future, right? And many, I think it's like 14, 15 different security applications, solutions already integrate using the Cisco Security Cloud app. And we take you through a couple. I think you'll see firewall and XDR, and I think you heard Kyle mention those as well. But we get your hands on those to take you from that, I'll say, crawl to walk, right? In terms of that analogy. But then in track 4, we also take a look at some of the legacy applications. And I think you'll see in track 4, we do go back and take a look at things like ISE and Cisco NVM. So tracks 3 and 4 are all about getting data into Splunk from some of our security applications, getting us more to that unified platform. In track 5, we focus on use cases. XDR is the one we focus there on most heavily. And then in track 6, it's all about troubleshooting. Okay, so where would we be without the ability to take a look at the Splunk system itself, troubleshoot issues there, and then common issues you'd find with some of the integrations we've covered in tracks 3 and 4. So key takeaways, if we can go to the next slide, please. So this is a deeper dive into the learning path itself. I'll give a demonstration on this when we get out to Cisco U, so I'm not going to belabor this too much, but you can see up top, it's the different tracks by title. There are a number of courses in each track, as you can see, 20 courses altogether. And you can see where we're featuring labs and simulations as well. So again, track 1, getting into the basics of observability, all the way down to things like, search processing language for running queries and dashboards for, simplification of visibility. Track 2, again, you can see XDR, SIEM, and SOAR. Tracks 3 and 4, we get into the integrations. Track 5, use cases. And then track 6 is troubleshooting. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now, this is how the learning path breaks out online for the e-learner, for that modality. And you'll see as we get into the demonstration as well, the option that you can work into any of these tracks. You'll see the assessments. I think you saw that there were 12 assessments altogether. It's because we do both a pre-assessment and a post-assessment for the track. So 12 assessments, breaks out into 6 different tracks. It's really those post assessments that you want to really focus on in terms of the continuing education credits. If that's something that you're looking for, successfully completing like an 80% or better on those post assessment questions gets you credit for completing the track and get you that much closer to completion of the continuing education requirement. So this is how it would shape up online. You can see the number of hours there. Again, you'll see that when we get to Cisco U. Next slide. But we not only have the e-learner modality, we also have the in-class option as well. And so same material you're seeing there, days 1 through 5. You'll see tracks 4 and 5 covered on day 4. So overall, a 5-day in-class experience, it works out very well as well. And then next slide, please. I think here we're going to get to demonstration. Okay, so let me see if I can actually get in here at this point and get my screen share going. There we go. Give me a second with this. Okay, and somebody give me, Kyle, give me a heads up. Are you seeing Cisco U being shared at this point?
I do, yeah. If you could maybe zoom in on the browser window a little bit more, I think we're good to go.
Yep.
Okay. Is that any better? Let's try it this way. So I'm logged into my to Cisco U as myself. You can see, nice to see you, Doug Notini. And up in the search, I'm just going to go ahead and search for the acronym for the course, ECSS. That'll pop up the relevant learning paths. I'm going to go ahead and choose Enhancing Cisco Security Solutions with Data Analytics. I'll go back to the learning path, and what you would see if you had logged in and you have access to this would be just what you're seeing here. You might recognize this from the presentation, the basics of observability. These are the 6 tracks along with the estimated time. We run all this through our course duration calculator to get the estimated times for how long it would take to consume the content, the labs, the videos. And as I scroll on down, you'll see here, Rev Up to Research. Yes, this learning path is free through October 31st. And I think that's one of the big promotions that we're running here. In terms of demonstration, let me just drill into the second track, Cisco XDR, Splunk, SIEM, and SOAR. You can see how this breaks out, where you've got pre-assessment, post-assessment, same as if I went into basics of observability. Each of the tracks has a pre and post assessment. You can see I've completed the post assessment for this. I'll drill into a particular course, in this case, Splunk Enterprise and Splunk Cloud Components, just to give you a feel for how this breaks out as well. So in the course, you'll find the introduction to the course. We have a lot of videos. I mentioned there were over 50 videos associated with the learning path. So you can play those, and you can see the transcripts here as well that go along with them. Each of the topics that has, you'll see that the icon is sort of the little triangle there, indicates video. If you hit a topic that has a beaker, this is more indicative of a lab. The labs are pretty cool. I'll demonstrate initializing a lab. A lot of the labs that we have are always on. So rather than taking a long time to boot, they boot rather quickly. So if I choose the option here to initialize lab, we should see it's initializing over on the right, and then it's not making a liar out of me. The lab is ready to roll, and I'm actually into the lab environment at this point. You can see up to the right under devices, you've got a WinServer 2022, an OWA mail server, and a jump host there as a workstation. You would simply start working your way down in this particular lab step by step. It says from the lab pod, connect to the jump host to workstation 1-jump. So I would choose to connect there, and I would toggle open the device. When I do, this is going to give you a nice full screen view. Guacamole connects on in. We gain access to the desktop, and really off you go at that point. Right. This is where it would be very beneficial if you had a couple of screens. You could put, and this is typically how I run my labs. I'll put the jump host screen on one monitor, and I'll be working on the labs on another. You can pull this over in this fashion as well. And if you need additional information, there's always a very, very beneficial, helpful show me's. And you can see in this particular case, we work on down, and we're talking about the different buckets, right? In terms of hot buckets, warm buckets, cold buckets, just getting you used to those components along with Splunk. And when you're done, you can go ahead and exit the lab, and that brings you right back to the course. And we're continuing on. Another really nice feature that we have in all of these would be the content review questions. Here you can see multiple choice questions, and if you get it right, wonderful, you've got the green indication as such. But if you get it wrong, we always come back and tell you, hey, look, the correct answers are, giving you the explanation as to why. So these content review questions are key, right, in terms of helping you as you move forward and work through the content. Have you learned the concepts? Can you solidify those? And don't forget, when you're done the entire track altogether, you've got the assessment questions to go through as well. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing screen at this point. I think we're back into the presentation. Carol, am I handing back to you at this time?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's the show. Guess we're ready for questions now.
Yes, we can open our Q&A. If anyone has questions, please, you can send now. If anyone has questions, please, you can use our Q&A. But before we're doing that, everyone seeing the screen, all good? I wanted to thank you all. Thank you, Doug, and thank everyone who joined us today. I hope you find the session valuable. And don't forget to register for the ECSS class, which is completely free through the end of October. We do have more cybersecurity opportunity too. And you will find the link in the chat. I will send in a few seconds. Feel free to take advantage of this limited time promotion. And we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Okay, thank you so much. If you have questions, I will leave here open a little bit for our Q&A. And thank you for today's session. See if you have any questions here. I'll send here the chat, in the chat our link. And if anyone have another question, please. I know that someone asked if Cisco Splunk courses have C credits for CCNP security. We will address that later. Okay, so, and here is information on the ECSS course that Doug showed us and talked a little bit, and it's free and available until October 31. Okay. Thank you so much, y'all. We will share the recording. And if you have any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to us or to our presenters too. Thank you so much. Patrick is asking, yeah, you need to have a login account in Cisco U to log in the CSS course, right? I think that this is correct. Okay, so if anyone has other questions, thank you guys for today's session. It was a very good session, and I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.